In this video, I'll show you how to write a repeating decimal as a rational fraction. The first question reads, write the number 4.85151, where 51 is repeating, as a rational fraction. To do this question, we need to expand this number as a sum. So for question 1, we have 4 plus 0.8 plus 0.051, that's the first repeating portion, plus 0.00051, and so on. To model this as a fraction, I'll use this formula, and it's written incorrectly. This should be a 1, where r needs to be less than 1, and r represents your common ratio. Our common ratio here is the number that we multiply each of these terms by to get to the next. So since this is the repeating portion, that's the only portion that I'll focus on. What do I multiply 0.051 to get to this? R needs to be 1 over 100. Because in order to go from here to here, you divide this number by 100. And if you divide it by 100, you take the reciprocal, and that's 1 over 100. Now let's double check if that's correct. 0.051 times 1 over 100 gives us, as predicted, 5.1 times 10 to the power of negative 4, which is this number. We also need to define our a, and our a is the starting number. Since these are the only numbers we're focusing on, I'll write my a as 0.051. So I'll substitute these values into the formula, where s is equal to 0.051 over 1 minus 1 over 100. Using my calculator once more, 0.051 divided by 1 minus 1 over 100 gives me 17 over 330. 17 over 330. Now don't forget, we still have 4 and 0.8. To model those numbers as fractions, that's not hard. I'll write down 4 plus 0.8 is 8 over 10 plus what we just found above, 17 over 330. All I have to do is combine these three terms. I'll start with the first two. Now remember, this 4 is 4 over 1. So the common denominator here is 10. 10 times 4 is 40. 1 times 8 is 8. We're going to add that to 330. The common numerator here is 48. And for the remaining calculation, I'll use my calculator. So I have 48 over 10 plus 17 over 330. And that gives me the number we started with. So I'll write down 1,601 over 330. 1,601 over 330. That's the answer to question 1. Let's move on to question 2. In question 2, we're asked, write the number 7.5757, where decimal 57 is what's repeating. So I'll expand this out. 7 plus 0.57 plus 0.0057, and so on. Just like before, we need to find the number that allows us to go from here to here, and that will serve as our common ratio. The common ratio here will be 1 over 100, just as before, because if we take 0.57 and multiply that by 1 over 100, or in other words, divide it by 100, we get the next number in line, which is this one. The starting number here is also 0.57, so I'm going to substitute these values into the formula that I have here, where s is equal to 0.57 over 1 minus 1 over 100. Using my calculator, 0.57 divided by 1 minus 1 over 100. And this gives me 19 over 33. My last step is to take this fraction and add it to the 7. So I have 7 plus 19 over 33. I can find a common denominator here, and it's going to be 33. 33 times 7 plus 19. 33 times 7 plus 19 gives me 250, or as a mixed fraction, 7 and 19 over 33. And there you have it. 2 examples on how to write a repeating decimal as a rational fraction.